Yes guys, welcome from me, this is Championship Manager 0102, the three-man game, the conclusion of season 137. Okay, so I've restored this as a solo game for the benefit of this video, hence that you can still see the change player. What a fucking epic end to the season yesterday, was crazy. I actually, you know, as you already know, if you follow this story, you know, I did a video on this earlier in the week because I didn't anticipate to play. I know Pep was away and he's away again today. But yesterday we sandwiched in a nice session, and it was a hell of a session because, you know, we managed to, I think, I don't know, 3 hours, about that. Absolutely brilliant. We haven't had one of them sessions on the free man in a long, long time. Where to start? Let's start with the Premier League. There you see it. It went down to the final game of the season for me to retain it. Now, this was in Pep's hands. This was Pep's to lose. There's no doubt about that. It was Pep's to lose. But if I show you what I mean by that, so the last game of the season, we all won. Pep had won on the Friday. I had won on the Wednesday. Ian was already out of it. But it was Monday. It was the Monday match that proved absolutely crucial for Pep, and that ultimately was costly in the title. He was, you know, seeking his first title. What did I work out? It was 28 years, was it? Something like that. Yeah, 28. Yeah, 28 years. So it's now going to be 29 years since the title. And if he don't win the title next season, that'll be 3 fucking decades, which is absolutely awful. So I think, without this being a little bit pig-headed, I think in fairness and credit to myself, we held firm. We held very, very firm. And I think we've dealt with a lot of injuries as well. Not that that's any excuse if we hadn't done it. You know, I think we all deal with injuries. But we did a lot of squad rotation, and I think by far our Colombian mean machine was massive. And Sanchez, Linear Sanchez. I think the biggest thing, and it weren't until I was going through this, the biggest issue for Pep, I feel, you may recall in the last video, Pep has a Bosnian striker, Memic, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, look at his credentials, 49 starts, 88 goals, but he's been injured for like 3 weeks, so he missed the final running of the season. So that is that then. So let's now look at the League Cup. There you see, Pep picks up the first major bit of silverware. I say major because for me, it's the League Cup, the FA Cup, the League and the Champions League. They are the 4 main cups. They're the 4 competitions that we are all participating in. So for me, they're one of the 4 main. And it was a great result for Pep. Very entertaining game for the Cup final, definitely. When I was looking at the video printer on this and I saw Pep was 2-0 up, I'm thinking, okay, Pep's in control. Then I saw Ian, no, he wasn't 2-0 up, got that wrong, didn't I? He was 1 up, he was 2-1 up. Then I saw Ian equalise on a stroke of half time, and I thought Ian's going to steal this, but it wasn't to be. Great result for Pep. Memic, of course, with the hat-trick. Pep picks up the League Cup. Okay, so let's now look at the FA Cup. The FA Cup went to me. And of all teams to beat in the final, it was our biggest threat in the AI side of things. Chelsea, we absolutely demolished them. And I didn't realise, but they didn't have the Zlatan regen playing, but who cares? Yeah, we absolutely demolished them. Very, very happy with that. But the problem was, for Ian, was that. That was a problem for Ian. And that was one hell of a semi-final in the FA Cup semi-final. We had our goalie sent off, and we had our striker sent off, but we managed to hold firm. We did hold firm, and I think you've got to feel a bit sorry for Ian because that was, I think he must have fancied his chances at that point with me going down in numbers. Now, when I saw Chelsea went to penalties, I really was confident that we could get Sheffield United, and it would be a much more straightforward final, but wasn't to be. But it was straightforward anyway. And just to remind you, on the FA Cup, we knocked out Pep in the 5th round, 1-0. That's where Pep was eliminated there, and that was a deserved victory. Okay. And finally, the Champions League went to... Boom! We did the treble. It was actually quite a deserved 2-0 victory for us, a Colombian double there, and we won the Champions League. But it would be fair to say the most remarkable thing about the Champions League was definitely, for me, the semi-final. So there's the semi-final second leg. We'd beaten Ian 2-1, undeserved, I think it's fair to say. But it was a first leg that was absolutely massive, and I'll show you why. Because look at that, it's disgusting, isn't it? Absolutely disgusting. Ian will be absolutely gutted to have gone out of the Champions League, given the fact that he dominated both legs. But that, he must have been absolutely furious. I know I would have. I'd have been furious, but that was absolutely disgusting for Ian. Now the funny thing is, right, is we have these. Well, we didn't actually have these rules on this particular game. The only rule we had, I think I said this, is non-whip-wob. But the problem is, right, you all know my views on exploitation, that sort of stuff. So if I had, for argument's sake, Santos sent off, that instantly puts 2 at the back. So I made a sub. Sometimes you can't do this, but I make a sub and bring 3 at the back. Or if a winger gets sent off, you've got to have a wide player to avoid exploitation. Now with red cards, it's very, very difficult because you can't always do it. You cannot always do it. That being said, so Bettini went off, and we brought on the Greek defender. Then who's that went off after that? 60 minutes, yeah. Then Jimenez went off. On 60 minutes, we made no sub because he was forward. And then Goris went off. And for the last 2 minutes, we brought on Thierry Pli. But the interesting thing about all this, right, is that semi-final Champions League. Let me show you where that was. So right here. And it was an interesting one because... No, not there. Where was it? Where am I getting? Right, so sorry, the FA Cup semi-final. So we beat Ian, and Ian messaged saying, "Oh, does that mean that Mosquera and Candela have both got 3-game bans?" Now, I don't ever know how they work out the bans. I don't know if it depends on the yellow cards. As it happened, Mosquera got a 1-game ban, Candela got a 3-game ban, right? And I said to him, I says, Mosquera 1, Candela 3, but the game, you know, as you all know, like ODB, because this is 2013. The bans don't come into effect for like 10, 14 days. So, to be fair, I think Ian maybe had a mind blip here because he was probably optimistic that neither of them would be available because he said 3-game bans and he knew that we were playing in 2 games' time. But the problem for Ian was their bans didn't come into effect until the 25th. So they weren't banned until the Middlesbrough game. So when I played... Candela played in goal again, and Mosquero played up top. And there you see, I think to be fair to Ian, and to be fair to Ian, in terms of goalkeeping wise, I took out Mosquera, put in Robert Power, and he ended up staying in goal. So I think Ian was really gutted at that. It's been a shit season for Ian, trophyless for him, and he'll be really, really frustrated, which I get, and I would expect a lot of transfer activity at Old Trafford. For Pep, well, he blew it. That's the bottom line. He fucking blew it. You know, he had his golden opportunity, and he blew it. Now, the funny thing is, right, is I said to Pep right towards the back end of the session yesterday. I said, look, if you're looking at changing tactics, I've got some wingers, and I think his pride won't let him accept it. That being said, we made one particular deal. Quite a surprise, if I'm truly honest with you, because I was happy to flog a player for £7 million. This player here, I was happy to flog him. Dugout, defensive midfielder, he's never really made it. Pep said he was looking for a defensive midfielder. Pep came back to me with an offer of an exchange, which I took. Now, I know this player is going to have fueled moves for Pep. He even told me that. But he's going to go into my resis. Josh Price, quite a surprise. Quite a surprise one. I think the thing with Pep is when players start feeling moves, he wants to fuck them off, get rid of them, and that's all well and good, right? I'm not disputing that. But the way I've been playing this particular 3-man game, because this isn't quite ODB, as I said, this is 2013, Tapani 2.19, so things like the suspensions are like ODB. There's no work permit. But the most important thing, there's no contract protection. So when I buy a player, I have him for 10 years. Well, I say 10 years, I put him on a 10-year deal, depending on his age. So, yes, Josh Price can quite easily do the same sort of thing for me, but I won't let him go until he's 29. It's as simple as that. You know, you can fucking deal with it. So that's the one main deal. Don't think I've brought anybody else. Let's have a look. I think Ian's got a couple of players in, actually. Let's check Ian. I brought what? Yeah, he brought one player, Timmermans. Quite a very good right winger, actually. Now, unless Ian's changing formation, I would very much doubt it. He's a very, very good right winger. And to be fair, he would be the perfect player to have on the other side of the Ribéry region. I think, you know, they would be two quality players. Both got a very good age, but I don't believe for 1 minute Ian's going to move formation. I believe Ian might have some more players. I'm sure he'll have some more players up his sleeve that he wants to try and bring in. He's going to want to do an overhaul. I know how Ian works. Pep, then, as we said, he's brought in the Coley from me, and I also flogged him. How do you pronounce this? Manzios. We sold Manzios. Was happy to get rid of him. It wasn't really fitting the bill for me. He wasn't performing, and you can see for me, you know, you have 9 starts and 6 subs. I want to see at least a bare minimum over 700. I was a little bit unsure because I think he looks good. He looks good, but we have promoted a few players within in terms of defence. We promoted in. It was this Belgian defender. Yeah, we brought in this Belgian defender. We've also done a little bit of promotion with the wingers. Aurelio, I might still sell Aurelio, to be honest with you. I'm not convinced, although he has just signed a new deal, I think. Yeah, he has. I don't know. And we also... Aurelio shouldn't actually be there. Aurelio should be over here. The guy on loan, Bergios, looks a fucking beast for the left wing. And was it Figueroa? Yeah, it was him, wasn't it? Let's just double check. Yeah, he was. So a quality player. We are really considering selling Emra because he didn't have a great season, but I was a little bit reluctant because I just think he looks so good. He looks so good, and I don't want to take a risk. He was injured for a lot of last season. But of course, there's also one big player that I will not sell. That's a Ronaldo regen. I still think I can get another good year out of him. You know, he's 31. He'll be 32 halfway through the season. You know, because I've still got, of course, Basso, the Neymar region. I think what I might do is I may bring in another forward from the Resis to just compete with those guys. And the obvious person that's going to come in is going to be Carly. You may recall Carly was in my seniors at the start of this season, and I forgot to take him off loan listing, and then an offer came in for him to go on loan, so I left it. But look at him, he looks a fucking beast as well. And he's still got 7 years left on his contract. He ain't going to be signing a new deal, but he'll be 29 before I fuck him off. So, very, very happy. Looking really strong, I feel. Look at that Ruiada. Still, it looks like he's getting better. Yeah, looks good. And I'll tell you another thing. Like this guy here, this 17-year-old Russian, Tabakov, I picked him for a couple of Champions League games because when I'll tell you when it was now, it was the second leg semi-final because I had a lot of players out suspended from the first leg, and this Tabakov did really, really well for me. He ain't going to be in the main setup for next season. You know, he's still only 17 years of age. Very, very happy with that guy. Could not have asked for anything more from his 5th start. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And that's it then. In terms of the international side of things, there's no changes really for that. Let's just see. I think it's what are we looking at? England and Germany, are we? Let's have a look at Germany. Yeah, Germany are automatically going to the Euros 52, and Pep, I think he's had a couple more games. Let's see where he's up to in his group. 5 out of 5. He's already achieved a playoff with 3 games to go, he'll do it with ease. So that's where we're at with the international side of things, which, as it stands, I've got no interest in. Let me know your views on this guy here, guys, what you think of him, because I've given him very minimal... Now, this is interesting, right? So we were just looking at forwards, weren't we, on my training. Now, look at this guy, Gary Crawford. Looks a great player. Forward, right centre. Right? Forward, right centre. But if I just do that, it don't appear. It doesn't appear on my forwards. Isn't that weird? I know what it is. It's to do with their rating out of 20 on positioning within the editor. But I'm not going to go to that, obviously. But I just think that's really fucking weird. You know. So, but then that being said, his ideal place is definitely behind the front two. Because right in the bang in the centre there, you know, there's only one player that's playing bang in the centre for me. And that's going to be Sanchez. Look how well he's done for me. 33 goals, 24 assists in 52 games. What a fucking player. £60 million I think we paid for him. £40 million has been paid already. Yeah, that's up. So that is where we're at, guys, with the epic 3-man game. I know we're not going to have any game time at least now until Tuesday on this. So I thought I'd give you guys a bit of an update. I know there was a few fans out there for Pep. And the truth be told, if I didn't win the title, I'd like to have seen Pep get it. But obviously, I'm going to do everything in my powers to try and maintain my own good run. So, title is mine for the 3rd year running. Champions League remains with me as well. Let's just see what that is, the Champions League. Yeah, twice now then. We said that Pep had won the title for 29 years. You can see it's 13, 14 odd years that Pep hasn't won the Champions League. And, you know, and I said this before in the previous video, with that in mind, well, that's fucking bizarre, isn't it? That is bizarre, because on the last video, Pep was superb. So Pep's gone up to world class now as a world reputation, which he needs to always be at world class. There's no doubt about that. But that's going to have been getting to the Champions League final, I would imagine. Yeah, so that is it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to pop down anything you want to know, anything you want doing on CM, anything like that. As I've got now a save to review from somebody that sent it. Till next time from me, guys, take it easy.